Hey YouTube, Jolly Green 1990 here to do a review to Chapter One Piece 1052. Now that I've had a little time to collect my thoughts. So there was a lot in this chapter. First thing I want to mention, as I'm going to try to go in order as best I can, is the cover story. Kuzan, former Admiral Kuzan is more than likely the one who shows up at Cacao Island while Germa are trying to escape. One thing I heard from a YouTuber, which I thought was interesting, was if Kuzan and Katakuri fight, freezing the mochi will make it a harder substance. So Kuzan versus Katakuri, while I think would be an awesome match, it might actually be a bad match for Kuzan. And I'm one that I really believe that Katakuri is definitely probably improved. I think he's gotten stronger. Next, right off the bat, we are introduced into, or we're continuing our thing with Lilith. Shaka gets on board because Lilith's all about taking Straw Hats and capturing them. Like, now, we later find out there were 6 bodies part of one. One thing I heard, which I thought was a good comparison, was 7 deadly sins, more from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So you have your separate that make up the one body. I thought that was good. So I like that Shaka's the logic. I believe that they all eventually can merge together to make the one, but in my opinion, based on what we're seeing, Shaka is probably the closest to the actual real Vegapunk. I like that Shaka's like, Lilith, you need to back off. Like, what do you mean? I could take these guys. And it's like, no, because you have Sanji, Usopp, and Frankie are spazzing out. You have Brooke and Nami who are a little freaking out with fear. And then you have Aurora Zoro and Nico Robin who are preparing for battle. I love that Shaka points out, hey, this is a recently dubbed Emperor's crew. They are not going to just take it lying down. And to me, it's, yeah, Sanji's having his love moment, but Sanji, Zoro, and Nico Robin are there. I think they could easily, not necessarily maybe easily, but they could definitely defeat this group. So I like that Shaka gives them credit. Say, look, this is an Emperor's crew. And I was like, okay, fine. And I like how fact that Zoro says, hey, Vegapunk, there's something I want from you, so you better play nice. Got it. He's like, no matter what, bring them here. I have an interest in that crew. So this might go with the Kuma stuff, or it might go with Dragon might have even worked with him. So we transition to Luffy. We find out, I mentioned this before, but Bonnie is the daughter of Kuma. One thing I heard from YouTubers, maybe she's the adopted daughter. Like in One Piece, the best familiar relations are those who are not actually tied by blood. And so I'm fine either way. I think this is a very interesting way to bring it together. I loved seeing the robots and the holograms, the different kinds of food. And then when we actually got to meet another one of the Vegapunks, Atlas. So I do like the design of Vegapunk 6 or Punk 6. One thing that YouTuber mentioned is the fact that she can punch the holographic relation to Kizaru. I think this technology to punch through stuff is very useful for specifically Nami. Nami's, a lot of her weapons are power science based. You're working with a technology guy could take his stuff and adapt it so that she could actually fight against Logia and other types, which I think would be, because I don't think Nami ever has to or should get Haki. I think Brooke, the very basic, will get the very basic. He'll get just basic armor, and so with Frankie. But nobody I don't think needs it. So that to me was an interesting thing to see. And then the highlight I consider of the chapter. I mean, Cypher Pole Aegis. We get Kaku, Susi, and Rob Lucci, or Gucci, as one of my favorite YouTubers calls him. I like how they break down Dr. Vegapunk. So we have logic, logical, the main one. Evil, Lilith, from the woman who essentially was the demon Lilith, the lust. Some people also, the Bible rumors that, maybe she was the first wife of Adam. I don't believe that. But to me, that's an interesting thing to think of. Flare, based on Edison, Thomas Edison, one of America's greatest scientists. Wisdom, Pythagoras, the Pythagoras theorem from ancient Greece, the guy who came up with the Pythagoras theorem. Wrath, anger, and Atlas, the Titan who's holding up the world. And then lastly, desire. Yoke. Yoke is a hard one to figure out where that would tie in. And I like how they transition kind of continue. Right in the background, you got a Seraphim Kuma with the wings, huge, and then he's got little ears. So I'm curious to see what their goal for returning him is. We later find out they're there to kill Vegapunk. So to me, this is going to be a Vegapunk Straw Hat team up. I have a feeling Vegapunk and Bonnie will probably solve their differences. I'm hoping. And this will lead to Vegapunk being more of a neutral ally. Not necessarily getting involved, but I think for the going forward for the series, when the world government, the Tributu, world knows collapse, you're going to need Vegapunk and his technology. So I think their technology, I think this is perfect, aligning with them, and then later on incorporating their technology. And I think Frankie, Sanji, and Nami, especially this weekend, and Chopper a little extent, but I definitely think this will be a Frankie and Sanji technology-esque arc. Usopp likes it, but the only way I can see him incorporating it is if he puts it with his things he uses to attack, his objects. So to me, I kind of see that maybe like Green Arrow with his trick arrows, and Hawkeye with the same thing. So this could be something for Usopp where he gets different things for his trick balls. If you had anything else, spot anything else that I did not see, please let me know. This has been Joey Green, 1990 1062 review. I will post my initial review and reaction either here or here. Bye, YouTube.